Hi, everybody. We want to welcome you today to the Unwrapping Your Life and Your Business podcast. Today we have Shirley George Frazier. She is an incredible gift basket business and information marketing guru in the gift basket space. She's probably the only one I've seen that's actually understood and learned this concept. So we're going to hear a little bit about her story. We're going to learn about how her journey to where she's at. She's written some books, which are great, and I have one of them. And we're going to hear a little bit about her story. And many of you know me, Michelle, owner, founder of Nifty Package Company, as well as the #1 mobile gift wrapping business in the nation. So something that I added on to my gift basket business
Right.
in year 2018, actually. All right, Shirley, great to have you. Welcome to our channel.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Such a pleasure being here.
I'm very excited. Well, I got to know you through studying. Um, you've got a lot of incredible information that very few women, or at least women in the gift basket space, have created, where you have a full program basically on your website. You
Uh,
teach women from start to finish how to start their own gift basket business, how to market their basket business, how to handle their finances, how to get corporate clients through your book. And not only through your book, but through which, let me read that out: gift basket business, how to start a home-based gift basket business. And I'll put that link in when I put this on YouTube. But I read it. Yeah, a lot of great information.
Thank you.
And things I've learned the hard way, which I probably could have gotten your book and learned the easy way. So for any of those who are starting a gift basket business, this is a highly recommended book.
So much, Michelle.
Yeah, Shirley, give us a little bit of a rundown of when you started the business and then that journey, if you could do that a little bit. I know I have some questions here, so I'm going to ask you some of those, but please.
Uh, just like many people, I wasn't sure what type of business I wanted to start. I worked in the financial industry for many years, the former World Trade Center. And through that, I decided that there was some kind of business for me. I had learned that my great grandmother grew strawberries in Virginia and shipped them to New York City in the turn of the 19th century. I had
Wow.
an aunt, yes, that to me is some feat at that point.
Yeah.
I had an aunt who made fudge, and she was in Brooklyn. And my mom was the delivery person. So she was pre-Amazon, pre-Uber, and all of that. And my brother owned a chemical company making pigments and such, eyeshadows and things like that.
Who did that? Your father or
My
your
father,
grandfather?
yes,
Your
my father.
father.
And even though I was working in the financial industry and I was learning a lot, there was no satisfaction. I knew that I wouldn't be able to grow in the industry except maybe my own portfolio, but I knew that I wasn't going anywhere because I was such a great worker that no one wanted to promote me, and that was fine. I just said to myself, look, let me find a way to do something for myself. I was married in, my gosh, I think it was, oh goodness, I think it was 1980. It was that long ago. And
Hey, I'm right there with you still.
and my husband made worked for a certain company, an aerospace company, and he made a gift for a friend. He took small
I remember
pebbles
reading
and
your
glued them
story.
to the bottom of a shot glass and wrapped it up. And from there, I thought of gift baskets. It wasn't a basket; it was just a shot glass with pebbles in them.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, wow, that I believe gift baskets would be wonderful because so many people love to give gifts. I learned over the years that gift baskets was and still is one of the top 5 gifts that people give internationally. And
Hmm.
you figure, well, how can you go wrong with that? Unless you do some wrongs, which you can always do wrong in business. But that's
Yeah.
where I started with an idea from my husband, with knowing that my family were entrepreneurs and just having that spark of creativity, bringing creativity and business together.
Yeah, that's a great story. I remember reading that now that you mentioned that about your husband.
Yes.
And now, start this full time? Did you quit your job or did you start building it over time?
It
Which,
would have
what
been
direction?
wonderful, as we all think, to quit our jobs and just go, just heave ho into the business. But being wise, I knew that I had to keep the job, keep transporting myself from point A to point B, and during the train trips and during the bus trips, writing my information down, getting everything
Sure.
together, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, or what, crossing the I's, dotting the, whichever way it goes.
Mhm.
and
They
and
all add up to the same.
yes, and getting everything ready for
Yeah.
starting a business. So I did start part time while I was working.
That's great, great. And I have a gal I'm working with right now, one of them, and she works full time and she wants to start both the gift basket and gift wrapping.
Oh,
So,
nice.
it's just starting from scratch. You
Yes,
learn
yes,
by writing down and then doing the work, right? Like
absolutely.
just getting your
Congratulations to
hands
her as
dirty.
well.
I know that's very
Yes,
exciting. I think you hit something that's very important, and that is it's still in the top five gifts.
yes, it
People
is.
love to give baskets. And I think we had a lull during a season. I want to say there was a season where I wasn't in the gift industry. I was homeschooling and married and not working, running a nonprofit, but not in the gift side. So, but I think when Amazon began to rise, gift baskets took a secondary place, and then you also had the large gift box that uh, gift basket companies where they sold they sold inexpensively and on a large scale. So it hurt a lot of smaller gift basket businesses. But the truth is, AI can't make a basket, and
Absolutely.
you can hear what they want and gift around that or build around that. And we ship internationally too. So you made a great point. It's a global business.
Absolutely.
So tell me really quick then, when you started, what was the transition from you working? Did you ever go into work full time for the gift basket side?
I did. Thankfully, as I was planning my business, I got to a point where I not only was planning, but I started making and selling the gift baskets. And from there, I knew that there was going to be a bit of a transition where I might not stop working
Yeah.
totally. I would stop working full time, but then start working part time to just make sure that I was doing well, getting the kind of business that I hoped to get, which I did. And I did transition from working full time to working part time for a temporary agency. And I vividly remember just wanting to have this business so badly so that I didn't have to work temporary anymore. Being at a stoplight in my car, holding my steering wheels, just holding it so tightly and saying, when will this happen? And I just said that over and over. And then within 2 weeks, I don't question it. Within 2 weeks, I was getting orders because of marketing, thankfully, and I could leave working temporary. So there was a bit of transition because you
Yeah,
have to put food on the table.
you
And you can't
do.
just leave your family. You could, but you don't want to leave
Yeah.
your family without the comfort that they
Right.
deserve while you are trying to build what you're trying to build.
Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think and then many in business, I was talking to a gal who's a florist. I'm in Southern California. Where are you?
I'm
Where are
in New
you?
Jersey, so I'm a New Yorker who lives in New
You
Jersey.
um, and trying to survive in the state of California right now it's very difficult. So, any of us are willing to work part-time if we have to keep our businesses going to where we don't have to go out. Not that we wouldn't treasure working for someone, but the truth is you work for yourself. So if it's full-time, it's harder to do that. But um, really to keep focused on your dream. But you make so many good points, Shirley, by working part-time if you have to or whatever. And I think the same thing. So I'm open to doing whatever needs to be done.
That's right.
Um, well, okay, let me ask you this. So how would you recommend someone starting their business today? Because it is different. The cost is high. Uh, Marketing is very different than when you started.
Yes.
So what would you recommend to a new gift basket person who wants to build a business? What would you recommend would be their first step?
The first step is to recognize that you are making gift baskets for your clients and the recipients and not for you. We can be so excited and fall into the trap of buying items that we enjoy.
Yeah.
And that is not always what other people want and prefer. So even if you enjoy uh, uh, candy that pops in your mouth, or
Right.
a certain type of garlic potato chips, your customers
Hmm.
may not like that. It is very
Right.
important to start with very basic items that are flavorful, especially on the gourmet side. You can certainly add gift items, but it's important to recognize who you are going to sell to, who is going to purchase the beautiful collections that you make. And from there, you can choose the kinds of products that are going to wow them, that are going to exceed their expectations. You consider um, how you're going to buy and where you're going to buy what you purchase. Because buying from retailers is easy, but it's not so easy to make a profit if you only purchase from retailers. So you
Right.
do have to get your business structure together in order to buy quality at the lowest cost so that you can make the highest profit. And
Right.
that's the foundation for starting.
That's great. Fully agree with that. And I have definitely business classes set up myself. And it's always about getting your ground and your foundation started.
Absolutely.
And also your expectations. I mean, they have to be managed. But I think one of the biggest issues that I see with comments in the gift basket and the gift wrapping space is that they're not understanding who their avatar is or who is their client. They're thinking about that's going to cost, or pricing their goods. They're thinking in terms of if I were to buy the basket, but they need to think in terms of their client and go after that client,
True.
but know your client well. And I've worked with a couple of people who might buy corporate gifts, or they buy in bulk. I want 100 gift baskets. And they'll say, I don't like this. It's all about what they don't like. But the truth is, people, one person who is a client, and I love them dearly, but they buy the same uh, cup every year. So the recipient doesn't necessarily want 20 of those same cups,
True.
So it's like sometimes we have to think in terms of, we also have to educate our clients even, but that's such a great point because I think people will buy a lot from some of the retail stores. But when you're starting a business, do your best to set up as a business.
Very true.
Treat it like a business, right?
And
That's
know that person's industry also, if they're working, if they're making
Mhm.
items, or you're creating gifts for that company. Really know the industry, the people who are in the industry, the clients that they are working with. I've had to do that with not elementary, but with educators, and how I had to ensure that the educators were presenting gifts that were on point and not just gorgeous, but something that their clients wanted. So that, as
Right.
you said, they weren't getting the same things over and over. Very important to know, to have that education and that research so that you continue to, again, exceed their expectations.
Right. Right. I agree. We do a client gift for one client where they they're in the construction side of business, and they have a party, and every year they want, I encourage them to consider an ornament, an actual, like a tape measure or a hard hat,
Yes,
and
yes.
then now they're in a collection. And then every year we do some new piece for their collection. So it was really cool because it's all about the industry. They're in construction, they wear hard hats, they have tape measures, and it's a small enough gift. It's reasonable, but we wrap the box really beautifully, and it's just a well presented gift, but it's also under $25 for the whole
Very nice.
gift. So it's
Yeah,
like you, understanding that. Now, I asked you the question too. You have two books. How many books do you have, Shirley?
Probably nine, but
Oh
the
my
most,
word.
yes, and the book, How to Start a Home-Based Gift Basket Business, is in its fifth edition.
Yeah, I saw that. I got
The
the
other
fifth
main book,
edition.
the Gift Basket Design book, made it to the second edition. Unfortunately, the publisher stopped uh, stopped making the printed copy, but the online copy is still available. But I've
Okay.
written other books that are about gift baskets, about marketing, marketing well. But the How to Start a Home-Based Gift Basket Business has been not only a bestseller, but also a book that I am so honored that it is still a blueprint for many people who have been in the industry for years.
Yeah.
That is
Oh
the
yeah.
big honor. It's very, for me as an author, it's very easy to put words together, but to know that other people are doing well through that tutorial is
Hmm.
is just warms my heart.
It's very good. You have some really good points in here, especially through, um, you know, when people ask for a discount or
Oh
your
yes,
deposits and cost of goods and your profit. And, I mean, all those things are so very important because when I first started, I didn't know what I was doing. I started the gift basket business for other reasons, and trying to understand profit and loss and cost of goods and including your shred and I mean,
oh
things that make you a businesswoman. It's not that you just hand somebody a basket and you sell
yes,
it. It's that you make a profit on it. And
absolutely.
so, yeah, you did a great job. It's a great book. I highly recommend it for sure. I'm gonna have to check out your other ones. I think I downloaded one. I like hard copy books.
Same here. Yes,
I just do.
absolutely.
If I can buy the hard copy, I'd rather have that because it
Yes,
helps me focus. To stay on the computer all the time, it's like, man, I don't want to do
yes,
that.
I agree.
Okay, so what prompted you to start your first book? And then I'm going to
Um,
ask you about your classes. So,
yes. I wish for the book I could say that there was some idea that jumped into my head, but it wasn't that. I didn't even see that there was a hole in the industry in terms of education. I started my gift basket business. I love what I do and continue to do, but I love learning other things in other categories. And in 1995, I saw online a a course from an adult school on how to write and publish a book. And I said to myself,
mhm,
oh, well, I love to write. I've journaled forever.
right, yeah.
Let me learn about about writing and publishing. It was a course that took 3 days, July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And I learned from a poetry author who happened to offer the course. She taught us everything that is still valid today. And this was 1995. She taught
That's
us
wild.
how to put the book together, what the best elements were for the book. She taught us the package that we had to put together for a publisher and how to send out our package so that a publisher could be interested in the book. And the first, I went to the course and didn't even think about writing a gift basket business book. No idea. And she started talking, and I said to myself, oh, okay, I'm in the gift basket business. Why not a book?
Yeah.
That's where everything started for me.
Oh,
So,
wow.
um, so I put everything together, and in 6 months after sending the package to publishers, about 28 publishers. The first publisher called me and actually apologized for not contacting me earlier. 6 months is great for getting a yes.
Yeah.
And she then started talking to me about putting the book together as part of a series of how to X, was how to start an antique business, how to start a bed and breakfast business. So there are a lot of books in this collection, and Gift Baskets happens to be one of the books.
That's amazing. And when you packed it, okay, 2 minutes, because I just finished writing a book. Mine is nothing like yours. Mine's more of the story side,
Okay.
and yours is very detailed on how to run your business.
Yes.
So, how did you package it all up? Like, did you have to print everything out?
No,
Did you have to go to the printer?
no, thankfully, everything was done on the computer, even in 1995. And excuse me if you hear any noise. Of course, this is the day when there's things going on in.
Construction. And my window
Apologies.
outside, I'm facing a window and I had them open and I'm like, oh no, all that noise is going to come in. No worries.
Awful. But I put the package together. Thankfully, because it's a nonfiction book, you go by what the publisher wants. The
Yeah.
publishers want either 2 or 3 chapters because it's nonfiction. They also want to know any competitive books. They want to know how you're going to market the book, what you foresee. They also want the cover letter, 1 page cover letter that says who you are, why you're the person to write the book, and that you also see the book as a series. They always want to know that as a nonfiction book. They don't want you to be, the
Interesting.
Milli Vanilli, that, one, well,
Yeah.
they made more records than one, but they don't want you to
Right.
be a one-shot deal, even
Very
if you become a
interesting.
one shot. And you put
Yeah.
your package together well, today it is by email. Everything's by email. But back in the day, it was send a package along with a self-addressed stamped envelope to get your information back if you wanted it sent back to you. And that's how the package is put together. So
That's
you have
cool.
about 30 pages, I guess, in total, maybe 30 to 40 pages. And you send it
In your
off.
first series
Hopefully,
of your package.
yes, and hopefully
Very
you
cool.
get a yes. But if you don't get a yes, it's okay. You still
Yeah. Try
today
again, right?
with publishing on your self-publishing, the
Yeah.
sky's the limit.
I think the same. Yeah, I think there's such a great opportunity, and I think I think people are doing it more now, but there is a lot of knowledge, and people are looking for knowledge. They
Yes,
want to know how to start
thank you.
a business. They want to know what are the steps. They're willing to pay that because you're saving them time and effort and everything. And through all your mistakes and your expenses, you learned how to do these things.
Very true.
You
They
know.
want the intricate steps. They don't
Mhm.
want glossing over, such as when my mother would go to knitting conferences later, way, years later than when she learned how to knit. There was a lot of glossing over of how to in knitting, expecting you to know knit one, purl two. They would go beyond that and not putting the knitting industry on point here with how things aren't done. But people want the nitty gritty,
Yep.
how much shred and
Yep.
how to position items. They want to know every little step, how to make that bow, how to make it fluffed out, how to ship that bow so it still looks gorgeous. People want to know
Right.
those little intricate pieces.
They do. And I think, I don't know that I see you too much on the blog, on the Facebook groups. Are you on Facebook groups? I know you're
I have
there.
I do have a Facebook group, gift bag. I have a couple of
Yeah,
gift
I gotta look those up.
basket business groups on Facebook. A couple of them.
I might be in one of them. I'm not sure. I responded to, because I think an overall look and how you position it is important. You've seen mine is more on the luxury side. So
Oh,
every
nice.
little detail is very
Yes,
important, and
absolutely.
adding small little things and why that's important. It's like a lot of people will say those baskets are beautiful, and they are beautiful, but you can make them even better with small little tiny
Oh,
changes. And that took
yes,
me a long time to learn as well.
yes,
Um, I had to learn those things, and it just elevates your work, you know.
absolutely.
Now, how did you go from, because Shirley, you've done such a good job on the business side of things. Like, I mean, your baskets are beautiful, but you know how to run your business.
Oh,
That's
yes,
the thing.
that's the big
And
part.
I think a lot of people can wrap beautiful gifts. I think people can make beautiful gift baskets. How do they build the business? How do they market it? How do they do that? And you've done a really good job with that. So it's like you went from your book and then you started your courses, because I know I asked you that question
Yes,
as well.
very true.
Um, Tell me a little bit about how you created your classes and what motivated you to do that.
Well,
At least the classes. I mean, because I
I
know you
have
shared.
several classes. Some are independently run by me. Class on marketing, class on designing, finding your customers. My biggest course, though, is one that's run by a larger company, one that is available through tens of thousands of colleges, which is wonderful so that I can really help people worldwide. Um,
Yeah.
that I found, well, with the courses that I run, I was able to put that information together by understanding, again, understanding what my attendees, what the students really want to learn about. And I was able to learn that through speaking at trade shows and hearing the questions that they had. So I was able to put my courses together that way. But the putting the course together for a larger entity is totally different. You first of all introduce yourself, and I have a very good friend who let me know that this certain big enterprise was looking for a gift basket course instructor, and I
Oh,
applied.
wow.
I said to
Okay.
myself, I can't imagine why they wouldn't take me. you,
Yeah.
you do think that, and
Right.
thankfully they did sign me on very early 2000s. Um,
See, that's the thing is you're like the queen of the um the online business marketing side where you did your courses, you did your book, you've created your website like in a way where you're not just selling your baskets, you're
right.
selling a business concept.
Yes.
That is exactly what I've been trying. That's my where I'm at as well. And I
Good.
took your class. So it was fun to take your class and to hear and to read what you do. And I mean, a lot of it I already do, but at the same time, it's like there's things I learned. So
Yes.
for you to have built that class, I was so impressed.
Oh, thank you.
I'm telling you seriously, this is no flattery. It is like, I'm thinking, how did she learn to do this so early on?
Yeah,
Those
you
pieces. Yeah, Ed to Go is what the platform.
exactly to go. Yes.
And I was like 7 lessons in and I forget what happened. I don't know if I think my mom passed away.
Oh,
I,
sorry to
I can't
hear that.
remember. So I was behind like 6 weeks and
Okay.
I was like, as soon as I got a minute, I was sitting down, I read the classes and do whatever. I already had done things. So I was just kind of reading and trying to just get myself into what you were teaching. And I got cut off. I'm like, I'm desperate. Get me back on the class. I want to hear. That was pretty funny. I just
Yeah,
want to see how you did that. So that's what took you into the classes and building your online course.
it is. I have to say, I don't remember if I had my own independent courses first or the Ed2Go courses. I have a feeling that Ed2Go came first to give me a model for how to
Hmm.
create my independent courses and to add on that extra discussion area where any,
I thought that
know,
was great.
any questions that that I didn't take advantage of answering could be answered. And then those questions also help me build the
Mm.
website, what questions are being asked, how people are positioning themselves, no matter where they are in the world with gift baskets. So the
Right.
course has helped me, it's an online course, has helped me greatly to inspire others to succeed being creative and making a profit at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, I thought that's a great statement. And you said the word modeling, and I think a lot of people don't take advantage of understanding that concept of how does she do that? How does she make that basket? I mean, I watched some of your videos and you may not have this big studio, but at the same time, you're doing the work. You're like, place this here, put this here, wrap this here,
Exactly.
and back to the details, which is what you were talking about earlier so that people can learn and model. And I just think, that's very key because
Yes,
imitation is a form of flattery.
it's true.
And they're
Yes,
following you because you're doing a good job.
yes.
I'm like,
And like we talked about, I know that people The students, the designers want to see all those little nitty gritty parts. They don't want you to just fluff over it. They want you to have information on that fifth grade, sixth grade level so that
Right.
you don't take for granted what they want to know and what they don't know so that they
Right.
do learn themselves.
And I thought something that was really good on your class that you had too is you were able, even though you're thinking, I got to answer those questions, the truth is it gave you dialogue with them.
Oh, yes,
So,
exactly.
you were able to communicate and give them additional information.
True.
And I clicked on all those links. I'm like, okay, that was really good. Okay, that's great. Okay, that's good. Like wherever
Yes.
you were taking everyone,
Yes.
I just thought that was really good. You did a good job, Shirley. I
Thank
was
you
very
so
impressed.
much. Thank you
Very much. Now,
very much.
what's been, we have some questions here that I have. What's been your biggest mistake? Or
Oh,
I have two questions. Your biggest mistake and what would you do over again? And I know that people don't necessarily want that question, but like you said, that it's in the details. And it's like,
yes.
if that can help prevent somebody from doing the same thing, um, I had a couple podcasts back, I had Terry August, and she has
Oh,
a very
yes.
successful,
Oh,
I
she's
learned a lot from her.
fabulous.
Yeah, for years.
Yes.
And, I love hearing those things because it just
Me
gives other
too.
people hope. And right
Very
now,
cool.
people are struggling. They're trying to figure out, how do I make it? How do I build my business? How do I
Yes.
create the income? How do I do that? And then, you know, learn from your mistakes. So, biggest mistake and biggest regret.
Oh, the biggest mistake was exhibiting at a trade show, and it was a gift basket event. Exhibiting at a gift basket trade show and thinking, and no, I'll put it like this, and not recognizing that it was a marketing event. It was an event to market, not to sell. If I happen to sell items, great, but it was really a marketing event, and I didn't realize that. All I knew was if I sold X amount of this, then I would make a profit and I would cover all my expenses. But then I didn't make even half or even a quarter of what I thought the event was about. And that was a tremendous mistake, not recognizing that some events are for marketing. And some events, yes, you may get some sales, but it's really getting the word out about what you offer to people at the
Yeah.
event. The event was in San Francisco.
Oh,
I
so
had
you
to
had to
take
fly over.
two flights, one to Chicago and then San Francisco and back home. I cried home. All
Oh, yeah. Well,
the
bless
plane
you.
went up and the tears came down. It was awful, and I
That's
learned a
funny.
good, big lesson. I had a big bill, big expense. Once I finished with that expense, I cut the card up because I never wanted to see the card again. And it wasn't the card's fault; it was my fault. And you had asked
But yeah,
another question. What I
re-
another question in I was
regret.
so
Oh,
that was the regret. But I thought there was another question too, with it was a
there's probably,
regret and something else. But you may remember. I'm so sorry I didn't write it down to remember
no,
because I just remembered
it's,
that big regret.
no, yeah, I would say, what's been your biggest mistake, even though that's a regret,
Oh, okay.
and biggest
Okay.
mistake,
Mistake.
and how did
Okay.
you handle it?
Okay. Biggest mistake would be okay. Biggest mistake would be with publishing
Okay.
and working with a traditional publisher, not recognizing that the publisher can pull the plug on your book that you
Oh,
think is
yeah.
doing well, but all of a sudden it's out of print. And you, because it's the publisher, they don't care that you don't know
Oh,
until
wow.
you are trying
Yeah.
to order the book again, and then you're told it's out of print. So
Man.
that's a big mistake on my part, which ends up, you can turn that mistake, change it from lemons to lemonade, and create a new book without the publisher. And
Yes.
truly
Because
believe in that.
Yeah, I mean, self-publishing is amazing.
Yes,
That's the what I use because I just didn't want to. I really didn't know what I was doing, to be quite honest. I just knew I needed a book and wanted to
that's where you
write a book
start.
and get into that because it's been a dream. And I saw an ad, and I also knew they were connected to ClickFunnels, which is another group I'm a part of. So I joined that in December, maybe end of November, but I did a 30-day challenge
Oh, good.
and worked on the challenge. And so, but I'm so glad because then they skill you on how to do what you're saying. Like you're not just connected to one publisher. You may get it published on Amazon or whatever, but they give you all the help with for that. And so that's really good to know because there are a lot of people who will be listening to this who have information who want to write a book. And I was listening to a podcast yesterday in regards to a gal who also heard she needed to write a book, wrote the book, and created the funnel for the book.
Mm,
And then just really did well through that
excellent,
process. So,
excellent.
I mean, you have something similar uh, set up. But so, what did you end up doing? What did you end up doing? How did you resolve that? Were you able to do it on your own, or just you're just aware of it and you don't have it in print?
Um, I am aware of it. It takes a while. It doesn't, well, and it doesn't have to take a while. Depends on other projects you have. But I have on my schedule to recreate the book in such a way that it will not overshadow the out of print book. So I'm just getting my thoughts together and everything together. And once I start, thankfully, I'm the kind of person, as I know that your listeners are, once you start, you continue the process and you complete it along with a marketing, with your marketing tools in place and your ideas so that others will share in the bounty of understanding what you've written and add it to their lives as well.
Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. I know I do have another question, and this I want to touch on your personal life for a little bit. So you're married, or are you
I'm
married?
I'm a widow now. It's been a
You are
long
as
time.
well.
Yeah,
Me
long time widow.
too.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
a widow too. So tell me a little bit about that. I want to hear about that, and then I'm going to ask you about your journaling. So you've been a widow for a long time.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
sorry to hear that. What
Yeah.
happened with
Yeah. He my great
your
marriage,
husband?
thankfully, always supportive. If I wanted to raise elephants in our backyard, he would have let me. That kind of man.
Mm, yeah.
Once I told him that I wanted to write and become an author, he was just, yes, do what you do, which was wonderful. And he knew that I was the kind of person who wouldn't stop bringing money into the house, working elsewhere. I wouldn't just drop everything and start writing. He knew that I would take the paces and let him know what I'm doing so that he was a part and parcel of the whole journey of becoming an author. He then, he had, I think it was, yeah, some liver and kidney problems that just took him to heaven.
Oh
And I was,
gosh.
with him all the way and
Yeah.
just know that
Huh.
he's in a great place now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
My husband was a pastor.
Oh,
So, I was a pastor's wife. My whole life turned upside down, and your
mm,
identity's changed. I was no longer a
mm,
pastor's wife and
yes,
not running a nonprofit, and that's how I
yes.
started Nifty. So what year was that?
This was 2011 when he
Okay.
passed. So some years
I'm
ago.
sorry to hear that.
And I
Yeah.
was, even though I was, who's ready? There was
You were
just
never
good,
ready.
exactly. But you get to recognize that you may be on your own, uh,
Hmm.
and and you just do your best with your friends and family around you to continue to grow, and
Yeah.
to continue to live and love and laugh. And
Right.
that's been the journey so far.
Yes, you do. It's so true. Like I didn't know I as a pastor's wife, I definitely worked with the poor, feeding the
Oh,
low income,
yes.
and started a nonprofit doing that and homeschooling my children. I never thought about the widows. To my shame, you know.
Yes.
And then I became a widow, and mine was 2014, so a few years after yours.
Okay.
Just like I had no idea how women felt and how quiet widows are. Like they'll silently suffer and
Yeah.
not share, because they don't want to burden anyone. And
True.
it is a different journey. And I don't know if you walk through some of the other things like the brain fog and fear and anxiety, and then having, for me, my faith, I have a very strong faith. So
Mhm.
for me, it was Christ and the Word of God and journaling. That's why I'm asking you about your journaling. Tell me a little bit about your journaling and what you do there.
I have journaled since I was in high school. I recently had to clean out a closet, and I thought I had discarded the journals, and I still have them,
Oh,
which is a
wow.
wonderful unearthing. And the closet is not overwhelmed. I
Yeah.
have purged a lot from my home and from my office as well. But I
Good.
had journaled for a long time, just sharing what was going on in school, what was going on with my home life. And I know that writing bug, a wonderful bug, came to me through my aunt, who I was named after, my mom's sister,
Um,
who we're all from Brooklyn, New York, and my aunt had taken another young lady and me when we were 6 or 7 years old to some event or to someone's house. And when we came back to my aunt's house, my aunt had the two of us write a letter of thanks to that person for whatever that person did and sharing her home with us for the afternoon. And that got me writing, 6, 7 years old. And
oh,
so
well.
that I know started with the journaling, started writing poems, and I still journal to just see how I feel, where my mind is. I've always been optimistic. I hope to always be optimistic and positive about
Yeah.
possibilities. I would say that being negative would be 0.0001% of my life, thankfully, because there's always something better coming. And that's where my faith is, knowing that there is something better. Because if there's something negative, well, let's see what is better. I've got food in the refrigerator. I've got a home. I've got
Yeah.
a wonderful life, and that's what
Hmm.
truly matters.
That's good. Journaling is such an important, you're right. It's a
Yes,
cleansing thing. It
yes,
helps me focus and be grounded in the morning. And I spend time with the Lord and in praying and in the Bible. And I journal, I have for 28 years every single day. So
nice,
journaling is a huge thing for
excellent.
me as well. So that's
Excellent.
great to hear. It really does prepare you. It's quite a discipline, isn't it?
Very true.
It's
Very
quite a
true.
discipline.
Yes.
Well, how about this? So a couple more questions, and then I want you to leave us with what you think is really important. You want others, your listeners, to hear, because now you've shared how you've grown your business, how you started your business, becoming a widow, some of the things that you do um, currently. But, how do you see the gift basket business in the future? Like, how do you see it evolving or whatever? And there are big box companies out there that do a
Yep.
lot of gift baskets on high volume. So some people might look at that and think, well, I can't compete with that. What would you say to them?
Say about the competition, congratulations that you will not be competing with them, because the
Right.
big box companies make what they make with the items that they have. And you, as an independent designer, can take your business into any area of the industry you want to take it at just on a dime, with a turn of your heel. You can go into any part of the industry. Gift boxes are extremely big today. So you can go from making gift baskets in baskets to
Hmm.
what you had mentioned before with the construction company. You can make gifts out of hard hats, upturned hard hats, to upturned umbrellas.
Right.
Because the industry is so popular and so well loved, there are cultures worldwide that will continue to expand this industry because of the foods and flavors and gifts and goodies and all the items that come from the different cultures that make the gift basket industry just a fine melting pot.
Yeah,
So I see
that's a
the
great word.
industry, yes, continuing to grow because of so many visions that
Hmm.
people worldwide have for making their gift baskets. And I can see it from the questions that I receive in my courses, from learning where people are located. Right now, I have my course has people, of course, in Canada. I say, of course, but in Canada, in Australia, in different parts of the lands. They bring such beauty and such honor through the gifts that they make that bring peace and joy to people in all lands. And it will continue to expand in that way.
That's so good. That's it's a mantra for Nifty and my team. It's like we're
Yes,
bringing joy to
yes,
a hurting world. Like, and
absolutely.
somebody will come to you and they might be Muslim and they can't, there's
Yes,
certain foods that they can't have in the baskets. And so we get to
exactly.
customize that, where on the large baskets, they don't necessarily do that. Or
That's right.
an Indian family, they want it wrapped a certain way because they use a
Yes,
different style. So we do that. And yeah, it's very true. And even the Asian community, we do a lot of fabric wraps and
oh, beautiful.
um, things like that. So there's a lot you can do, but that's great, Shirley. I appreciate that. And let me ask you one last question before I ask you to give us some closing thoughts. And that would be, what kind of a legacy would you like to leave in the gift basket industry
Mhm.
and gifting? You don't just
Yeah.
work in gift baskets, you're in gifting.
I would love that my name wouldn't be remembered, but
Mm.
that the industry continue to grow. Excuse me for that.
Yeah,
Because
no, right ahead.
some
You're,
people, don't, some people would love their name to go for generations and generations. And what I want is that spark of ingenuity and creativity to continue. And not my name, because my name doesn't bring creativity.
yeah.
The vision and the beauty that people bring to gift baskets. That's the legacy I want for the industry to continue to be joyous, to bring peace, to bring comfort, to celebrate traditions and occasions. That's
Hmm. To
the legacy
celebrate. That's great. Yep.
I participate in. Excuse me for that.
No, it's a blessing. We have to be real here. That's what we're about. I mean, think about it. We have widows and we have people who have either lost their jobs and starting over, in their life. And you've got all kinds of emotions. We're women. I celebrate that. And I celebrate you. Now, how would you like to leave this? Like, if
Oh,
you could say anything to anybody, and you know that you've got a mix of women, probably more women than men, you know, starting their business or life changing, and they have to start something, or they have to start a new business in addition to what they're already doing, what would you what would you say to them?
suggest that they research as much as possible. You're going to get this spark of an idea and you're going to want to run with it. It's going to be very important to research the pieces of that idea puzzle so that while you know that there are going to be some mistakes and some lessons, you at least know that you have a firm foundation for what you are starting. And on top of that, try your best to close your ears to those who don't believe in what you are creating. Can you imagine if Google and Yahoo and Twitter and anything that's not online, those companies, if someone said to those founders, "Oh, that won't work," then we wouldn't have those products.
Hmm.
those
Those
items
businesses.
out there.
Yeah.
So try to you listen with respect, but stay focused and stay on track. And I say that because I had an uncle who I told I was writing a book, the how to start a home based gift basket book, and he said, "What? You're gonna write a book?" I'm laughing. And yes, I'm going to write a book. He said, "Well, who's going to read that book?" And I just listened to him with respect, but I knew I was on my way. Do
You're
not.
like, Michelle will 10
Yes.
years, 20 years from now. And
So,
I'm going to encourage everyone else to.
yes,
Yeah.
research and stay focused. Sometimes you have to put blinders on, and it's okay to do so. And
Yeah.
continue, and don't be afraid to go this way and that way with the change of the road with the road. Just
Right.
keep moving
Be
forward.
willing to pivot. That's why I encourage women who have gift basket businesses to add
Yes,
the gift wrapping because it's all year long and they
absolutely.
don't have the same inventory issues. And so it's a really good way to create additional income through the year,
Yes, that's right.
because that's important, especially for so many people right now.
Very true.
Shirley, how can people get in touch with you? And then on the YouTube, as well as LinkedIn and Facebook, I will put the links to your who you are and all the different social networks that you're in part of. So give us a little bit of where we can find you
Well,
and where we can find your
biggest
book.
the biggest place to find me is on the giftbasketbusiness.com website, where the book is available there. I not only mail the book, but I also add some magazines, some other literature,
I know, I'm so excited
lists,
you
and
signed my
other
book.
items that's very helpful to those who are starting the business. The book, though it is comprehensive, there, like every book, there's going to be some information that may be missing, something about their particular business, your listener's particular business, that they want to know about. So if they want to contact me, and there are links on giftbasketbusiness.com to contact me, I encourage those who are listening here to start the subject line saying from Michelle. So I know where you came from Michelle. And that encourages me to answer you quickly. I could be
Awesome.
doing some other things and I don't know, where the person came from. But if the subject line starts with from Michelle with two L's, I
That's
will know.
right.
I will know to answer your questions or your concerns.
Wonderful. And you have a freebie too, right? So what,
Yes,
tell us a little bit about your
yes,
freebie. It's your
yes. This
list, right? A
freebie is a
checklist?
checklist, and it is a
Wonderful.
starting your business, your gift basket business checklist, so that you know all of the pieces that you need to consider as you start your business. So that you know that yes, you're going to need some shrink wrap and you're going to need cellophane, but maybe you hold off on the shrink wrap, but you know that you're going to need it because of the checklist and all
Right.
the other pieces of this wonderful puzzle that is required to start a gift basket business successfully.
Yeah. Very good. Shirley, what a treat. Thank you so much for joining
Oh,
us.
my
And I know
pleasure,
you're
Michelle.
busy, you have a lot going on, but you're a wealth of information and there's so much that people can glean from you and your videos. And so I'll also put that link in there because you also have a YouTube channel.
Yes,
That way they can reach out to you and see some
absolutely.
of your work.
Wonderful. It's been my
Shirley, great.
pleasure.
Have a great rest of your day. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
very
joining
much.
us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.